Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today we have an EUGM match. It's a ZVT here on Jagannatha, and we've got a special co-caster. It is Railgan himself. Welcome to the cast, Railgan.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, always excited to have somebody offering their insights on a game that I'm casting. So, alright, so top right hand corner we have the red zerg player. It is Railgan. And in the bottom left here, we've got Vindicta, the blue Terran player. All right. First of all, I just want your thoughts on this map. Do you feel like it is Zerg favored in ZVT or the other way around?
I think in general it's Zerg favored, but it's mostly because of the speed zones allow Zerg to engage really quickly with Ling Bane. But I'm personally not really a Ling Bane player, and but I feel like it's very easy for Zerg to attack the bases of the Terran. Like you always have like multiple entrance points, so I think it's pretty Zerg favored.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, the speed zones are awesome. And I mean, I guess even if you're making, you know, roaches and hydras and stuff and lurkers, they can still engage pretty quickly inside those zones. So you still have a nice advantage if you're trying to close in on a Terran army, yeah?
Always a big point of contention, yeah. Controlling the speed zones is really important. I mean, you can also like kite with marines fairly well and stuff like that, so.
Makes sense. Looks like you're doing a pretty standard 16, 18, 17 here. Vindicta going for the Reaper expand. Yeah, the timing's real good here from Vindicta. Bam. Expansion comes down. APM spamming about 350 right now for him. You're at around 146. Less spammy for sure, but that should increase a little bit as the game goes on and there's more stuff to do. Your Overlord cruising in for a scout.
Yeah, exactly. What's interesting about this map is you can't really hide your Overlord at the natural. Like the pillar at the natural can be seen from the high ground, so you kind of need to go away a little bit with the Overlord, and Vindicta is abusing that by going for a 2-rex opening, which can be very deadly for me.
Uh-huh. Look at that. Second barracks coming up. Expansion on the way. Reactoring the barracks. The Reaper shows up. We're doing the Reaper dance. As is tradition, this Reaper's name is Betsy Ross. With no backstory. Sure, Betsy Ross. You know who Betsy Ross is? I bet you don't.
No, I don't.
Yeah, she is apparently the woman who sewed the very first American flag back during the Independence Days. So that's why she's famous.
Yeah, that's not something we learn in a European school.
No, I'm sure Switzerland History School has nothing to do about that. Understood. So, whoa, getting some, like, glitches, some visual artifacts here. This is weird. This never happens. I don't know if it'll come through in the recording, but I'm definitely seeing some weird Matrix-style glitches happening.
I don't have any of those.
Okay, well, it's just me. That's fine. Wow. All right, let me know in the comments if you can see this. I don't think it's too distracting.
Vindicta is going for a 2-1-1 opening here. Ooh. So that's usually a 16 marine drop. Sometimes they add in a Widow Mine, but it's in general what their goal is to leave the base around 4 minutes 15, 2 with 2 medivacs and a bunch of marines, and do some damage on the other side of the map. But no Hellions, no Liberators, no Banshees usually.
Yeah, usually just the marines. I've died to this more than once. What do you think about going for Lings with +1 armor to defend against this particular attack from the Terran? Is that viable?
Yeah, it's viable, but Terran started mixing it up. Like some add Widow Mine, some add Hellions and Talbots, go for an all-in. Some add Hellions and then go for a battle cruiser behind, and it is like wild. Like the amount of possibilities this opening has is you never know what's coming until you see the buildings that they place down.
Okay, well, we'll have to see what we get here then, huh?
Yeah, but look what's coming across the map.
Yeah, I see them. Your roaches are moving. Scooving across the map here. You are getting Glial Reconstitution for these guys. 3 roaches not going to do super great against this number of marines. Vindicta, but additional roaches are coming in. The Roachman himself making his presence known. Going to get a free supply depot, a second supply depot, possibly, and just engaging on it, even with the stim. Great target firing here. That is so well done from Vindicta. Even doing a little bit of some medevac micro. All the roaches die. Was that a good trade? What would you say?
Not at all. I was kind of experimenting because I figured maybe I can hit the Marine Medivac player with roaches before he actually moves out. I learned that there are actually better ways to play it. This time I hit a bit too soon, so his Marines were just ready, but I'm ready for the defense at least.
Yeah, it looks like you've got a good number of queens. Roaches responding to this. The queen's anti-air especially is important, as that medevac took quite a bit of damage, about 50% damage on that medevac, forcing her to flee to the low ground. Roaches are here on the low ground too, though, even protecting the creep tumors, and there's really nowhere for Vindicta to go. He can't unload here. If he's going to unload, it has to be fairly far off creep. The creep spread is looking pretty good from Railgan as well. And the medevac's just kind of trying to find another angle to come in, maybe attacking that third next.
The dangerous part for him is also that he doesn't have defense at home. Like if you check his natural, there's like a medivac there.
Yeah.
So he also has to be a little bit worried that I counter.
Yeah, definitely understood on that one. He is unloading and healing up a bit across the waterway from the third base. Meanwhile, Railgan's roaches are cruising out. 5 more roaches in production. There's a bit of a drop in the main base, which that medevac is going to die, so these Marines are on a one-way trip. I don't know if these queens can handle it on their own. Another queen comes in, but man, Marine's so good. Also dropping into the third base a little bit, getting shoved away by the roaches there, and then Railgan's roaches arrive at the front door of Vindicta and start breaking down this wall.
Yeah, this is usually very, very unpleasant for the Terran, because the Terran does not want to be attacked. The Terran always wants to be the aggressor.
Yeah,
chill.
Sure. Yeah, the number of Marines here is just not enough. A Liberator shows up, which is helpful, but the roaches have speed, and in the hands of somebody, you know, well enough to control, and it's not going to be a big of a problem. Siege tank, a bit of a bigger issue, especially behind a wall, and the roaches decide to back on out. But guess what's coming across the map is more and more roaches. We going to Ravager any of these guys? There it is.
Yeah,
okay, Ravager's now coming in. Yep, it's time. Ravager's so very good for so many reasons, but especially against Liberators and tanks. Yeah,
Liberator at my third base?
Yep. See that. It's getting on out. Queen's recognizing where it is. 2 queens, really not, you know, uncomfortable position for the Liberator to do that. On the other side, Railgan, Roach Ravagering. Got his 3 Ravagers, 3 Corrosive Biles per tank, 3 per Liberator. Tank is, there you go, finally going down. Final hit there. And pull in the boys. There's an attack in the main base that Vindicta is pulling off at the same time, really burning down these roaches one by one. It's some nice micro here. He's not just A-moving. Corrosive Bile almost getting a medevac there. The natural base of Vindicta is in a lot of trouble, but the Marines taking the high ground, marching down to the low ground in the natural base. Oh, the Roach Warren getting target fired. Railgun, can he save it? Some roaches rallying out. Oh, not attacking until it's almost too late. More and more roaches popping on out here. The roaches on the other side of the map. This Ravager finally going to go down with 6 skill to its name. Oh, and the aggression on both sides of the map that were happening at the same time seemed to be done. Wow, that was intense for a minute there.
Yeah, it was very scary. Like the Marines in the main were kind of going out of control, but I had to pull all the queens, build additional queens, and he's still not done. He is ready for just yet another drop in the main.
Yeah, +1 Marines with stim and medevac support are nothing to mess around with, that's for sure, but enough roaches are present. Vindicta has to get on out. So the trick here is that Vindicta has not been able to take a third base due to all of the roach pressure, and Railgan has hung on to his third base pretty effectively. Trying to take a fourth, but, you know, there are Marines in the general neighborhood there, too. They got chased away by some roaches. Upgrades are 1-1 for the roaches and Ravager. Still that +1 with there you go, +1 armor now finishing up for the infantry units for Vindicta.
Yeah, I mean, like, he almost died. He's like down to 35 workers right now. Like,
yeah,
the roach pressure was a lot.
26 SCVs down is a big number to lose in the first 10 minutes of the match, for sure.
Mules too.
Fourth base again under attack here. Roach trying to hold on, can't quite do it. Is that enough Marines to force a cancel before the reinforcements show up? The answer is it is not. They will harm it to some level, and that'll be a weakened hatchery when it finishes. On the other side, Roach is coming in again. It is just Roach flooding over and over and over again here. That third base is trying to land, but how safe is it going to be is the question with all of these roaches more and more pouring in here. A single Liberator trying to assist, or maybe just moving across the map for aggression. Marines dropping in the main base for Vindicta, forced to be picked off. Vindicta's multitasking is pretty good, honestly, in this match today.
Yeah, he's putting a lot of pressure, and Whenever he gets a free second, he's trying to drop my third base, my main base, my fourth base. But I'm also not, like, the moment I start playing defensive, he will get up his third base and immediately be back in the game economically. So I have to keep up the pressure right here.
Definitely. He's done a really good job recognizing if he can stick around with his units or if he has to pick up and get out of there. Liberator, the natural base, ends up getting 5 or 6 kills before it goes down. Liberator in the main base racking up the drone kills here too. This is a little bit problematic. And the third base under attack by Marines and a Marauder now in the mix for the first time in these little aggressive plays. This is nuts. And the other side of the Roach Ravager, once again, Railgan wanting to make sure this third base does not happen. And he's doing a pretty good job with it, I gotta say.
I'm trying to snap it with the bias, but I'm actually kind of missing. So,
I mean, it is moving. Like, moving targets are hard for Ravagers to hit, in general.
yeah, it's true. Now is where it starts getting scary, because his bio, as you can tell, it's absolutely ravaging my Ravagers right here.
Yeah, there is always a point where Roach Ravager just starts to be pretty bad against a Bio-Terran player. Their upgrades start to kick in. They start just getting in numbers to where it's hard to stand in against it with Roach Ravager. But you're finishing your 2-2, and his 2-2 is not even on the way. So I think this will extend the viability of your Roach Ravager play a bit longer than I would normally expect it against a Terran who is working, who would be working on his 3-3 at this point if it was somebody like, Beyond or Maru.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really know what his upgrades are looking like, and it's also hard for me to tell how defensive he's playing. So if he only has 2 tanks there, it wouldn't really be an issue, but he has 5 tanks. He's basically just constantly pumping tanks, using them for defense and dropping his entire bio into my face, which is how you're supposed to play it, and it's so hard to deal with as
Yeah, and Vindicta is very intelligent with how he's handling this. Unloading there, maybe not the greatest of choices, but does respond pretty quickly and get out of there when it recognizes it's a bad position. So right now, it is 58 to 43 total workers. Railgun looking pretty good there economically. Army value 141 to 78, but it is Roaches and Ravagers, which that's a lot of army supply, but maybe not super cost efficient for how much supply they are. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Vindicta unloading on the edge of the creep up towards the left base. Railgun going for a largely roach attack into, 5 tanks at this base, and the roaches are like, nope, evacuate, use the speed zone, get out of there. Another attack at the third base does get shoved away. Railgun just playing that defensive style pretty well. And it's not 100% defense. Obviously, we're seeing a lot of Roach Ravager attacks on the other side of the map, but also not just losing a base or losing an entire mineral line to these attacks either. And so far, that's really paying off in the long run, keeping these bases alive.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to... Yeah, I was trying to snipe the Medivac, and I'm just trying to take whatever trade I can, because I figured I'm probably in a better economic position and I just want to take trades so I can transition to a more cost-efficient late-game composition, because Roaches against Tank Marauder, not really what you want.
No, definitely not. Ghost Academy coming in from Vindicta too.
It's usually not fun for the Zerg.
No. Definitely not. Steady targeting, good spell for sure. Good ability. So you're going to go into Lurkers, I assume, at some point? You're going to try to Rainer this thing?
Yeah, exactly. I usually play Roach Ravager into Hydras and then into Lurkers. I watched Dark play, and Dark kind of plays a similar style sometimes, and then he starts adding speedlings to deal with the massive amount of tanks that Terrans will throw at him. And sometimes even Corruptors for the Medivacs.
Yeah, and the Lings are going to help against the Marauders too, so that's pretty good. Awesome. So there's your hive timing here at about 14 minutes. Vindicta's going for a 4th, not that I can see. Not really building another command center yet. He seems to be happy to sit on 3 bases for the time being. Oh, it's a nuke. What? I haven't seen a nuke in one of my games in a while. This is a good replay. Thanks for sending it over.
Yeah, I see too many nukes in my games.
All right. I'll have to ask you for more replays then. This is fantastic. Your pain is our entertainment. There's the Lurker.
So usually is. Too.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually how this works. Is the player's pain is for the entertainment of those who like watching StarCraft. So again, trying to kind of face smash into this third base, but tank count just too high. Everybody's clumped up too much. You can't avoid clumping up with the units that are this big, and Railgun decides to head on back home.
I can't really take a good engagement right there. I would need way more links so I can actually flood in, because he's defending with purely tanks, and moving out on the map is super scary, because if I get dropped by 3 medivacs in my main base, all of a sudden I lose my hive because I have all my units across the map. So.
Right. Yeah, that can be pretty scary for sure. So Vindicta dropping left side, high ground expansion position. There's nothing there, but now marching onto the creep and going for that third base again. It's a pretty... I'm trying to transfuse that spore, but it is dead. Yeah, these are 2-2 dudes. 2-2 infantry units. They're pretty scary with that stim and medevac support.
What you're trying to aim at, what you're trying to aim for a zerg in this position is you want to have a complete horizontal line of creep. Oh no!
Here comes the nuke. You just picked off 2 almost full medevacs, which is great. But now the counter is the nuke attempt, which does it land. The overseer is just out of range. No, he sees it, but the nuke hits anyway. Beautiful nuke. Great drone pull. No drones die during that attack. That was very close though.
Yeah, he's already getting the next nukes ready.
Yeah, 4th base here, Vindicta up and rolling. Ready to rock. And 5th base getting started now by Railgan. So it seems you're a bit behind economically with a 4 base versus a 4 base scenario.
Yeah, I kinda missed my timing in the mid game. I wasn't sure how far ahead I truly was. Like when I was playing, I thought maybe the game is somewhat even after the marine drop and roach harassment, but I actually pulled further ahead than I thought.
Gotcha. Another cloaked ghost. Oh, he gets spotted. Instant he steps on creep and gets murdered. Big roach attack coming down that right side towards this 4th. But again, tanks on the high ground. Liberators in the mix too. It just... I don't know about this one. Yeah, Railgun decides to back on out.
Yeah, I need to free up supply right here. I need to build drones if I want to go into late game, and also need to start adding lurkers. I just want to trade away some roaches for whatever I can.
Might as well put some Fear of Zerg into the Terran players while you're at it.
Yeah, I mean the production tab is full of upgrades right now, so yeah. I'm getting ready.
Oh, absolutely. Seismic Spines just finished. That's the range upgrade for the Lurker. Roaches sacking themselves at the 3rd base a little bit too, recognizing there are the ghosts with the steady targeting, obviously. And then just pulling back once a few of those die. 10 more drones in production. Actually getting tunneling claws. Are you planning on using some burrow roach today?
Yeah, I figure, I mean, if I still have this many roaches in the late game, I'm getting burrow anyways, I might as well try to use it.
Dropping the main base, which is... Is that ghosts?
Yeah.
Okay, well, they're all dead, so goodbye. Goodbye, ghosts. Enhanced shockwave coming in for some EMPs on the... Oh, what are you even EMPing here? Overseers? Is he planning on you making some Vipers, I guess?
Yeah, Viper's always part of the game against Terran because they're so good against tanks. And of course for abducts as well, so...
Yeah, Blinding Cloud and abduct is super good. This poor drone. Nuke attempt right side. Engagement on... Oh, double nuke while engaging on the left side. Looks like you're going to win that one. And they find that one gets canceled, but the nuke at the 4th base is going to land. Couple drones die. That wasn't quite as close to the mineral line, I think, as Vindicta would prefer it to be, but it was a little bit safer too. Just taking a ton of HP off that hatchery. It's at 40 HP right now. I think maybe he assumed it would die with this nuke. Another nuke. Also getting larva is a big deal too. Reducing Railgun's larva is going to be super nice. Okay, good pull on this one. The ghost is once again going to die, but the nuke gets off, killing so many larvae. Ah, this is fun. This is great stuff. I know it's incredibly stressful for you, but
because I don't know where the nukes are.
Right. Yeah.
Usually I don't get nuked in my natural at the 20-minute mark, so...
You recognize that one pretty quick, though. Nuke on the right side coming in. This time, that's not going to land.
The tunneling roaches are also getting ready, but I know he has a lot of turrets.
What? Oh, that didn't have to land. You had lurkers over there and didn't burrow fast enough to kill him before the nuke finished.
I actually mispressed. I burrowed the Ravagers instead. Happens to the best of us.
It sure does. And that nuke didn't do a ton of damage anyway. I mean, it did most of the damage to that crawler over there.
Yeah, if you check the right side where my lurkers are right now, that is one of the big points of contention that I always try to defend. Because if the Terran gets the control over the high ground where the lurkers are currently, at that point he will be able to push into the 4th base or 5th base on the right side where my queens are. And I really don't want that. I need to control that area. That's why I'm defending it so heavily.
Makes sense. Nuke on your lurkers. Revenge. That's right. That goes down. That's a burrow roach attempt coming in where there's missile turret and siege tanks, though. Not particularly effective on that one. Liberator. It's a couple queen kills before it gets taken down on the right side there, too. And this burrow roach group, the missile turrets are just too many. Freeing up supply. Goodbye, roaches. 4 Vipers in production here. Another nuke attempt on your lurkers. You don't have vision on that one. This one, oh, okay, there we go. Pulling it out. Just getting out in the nick of time. Nuke lands, kills a few creep tumor, but not much else. And he's going to try to nuke. What? Really? Okay, so he cancels his own nuke there. And yeah, he's dead. Not fast enough, guy. Not fast enough on your 2 legs there. Vindicta making 3 nukes at a time. Really pretty effectively keeping the pressure on you for the last few minutes.
I need to start fighting back, and this is where I go.
Yeah, steady targeting going pretty well here, but I think there's just too much Zerg. The Ling's especially important on those siege tanks. Corruptors in the mix versus the Medivacs. Absolutely beautiful play. Medivac count 0 in this general area. Overseer's flying into missile turret heaven, though. And it's time to back on out. Not quite left enough to get up that ramp, but did a great trade there, wiping out a lot of siege tanks, bunch of bio, few Medivacs. Excellent job. Ultralisk Cavern in production now, too.
Yeah, he also wiped out every single lurker with the steady targeting.
Yes.
Snipe.
That was fantastic. 10 lurkers have died today. And, yeah, there are 0, so that would be it.
Yeah, but Vindicta is struggling. Like, he has no bank right now. And it's hard for him to push out on the map because he is so siege tank heavy. And they're so spread out.
Another nuke attempt on the right side here. Drone's trying to kill this guy, but with the 3 armor, it's not really going to happen. Get out of there, guys. Okay. Several drones go down. Hatch takes some hits. Attack out the 3rd base. Doing some work. Bunch of changelings getting tossed down. The command center trying to fly away, but there's corruptors in the situation now in that group. Is he? Oh, he's nuking his own side of the map. That's never a good feeling. This might actually work. No, the lurkers get out of there. That was close, though. Did get a Hydralisk. Yeah.
And his own Medivac.
Yeah. Worse situation. Creep spread pretty fantastic, too, at 23 minutes for a fairly large map. All the bases are connected, pushing down this right side. It's hard for Vindicta to expand on this right side because of that creep. Lurkers burrowing in on the low ground. EMP is getting tossed down on the overseers, I guess. Maybe the Vipers caught some of that too, but Hydra's kind of trying to march into the bottom right.
Yeah, exactly. I really want to slow down his economy here because I know he only really has 1 or 2 mining bases. Yes. And if I can push into the bottom right, I'm going to be in a really good spot.
Yeah, the steady targeting, though, is a huge problem. Absolutely wipes out everything in this area, so the base stays alive. A lot of Zerg units die, but again, Vindicta is rolling with 200 minerals and 87 gas. It's just not a good number. Attacking up the left side here as Railgan has expanded to the left side again. Nobody really in the neighborhood to save that. Here we go. Hydra's coming on in now. Only 4 siege tanks in the mix. Great split on those guys too. So Blinding Cloud isn't as good. That's fantastic. But enough Hydra Ling here. It looks like maybe a couple of the tanks go down and the rest of the tanks are in a lot of trouble. Vindicta pushing up the right side at the same time, taking down spores. Here we go, setting up with these siege tanks on the high ground. It'd be really difficult to dislodge this, as you were saying just a few minutes ago here. Hatchery's already been weakened because of the nukes. And here comes Railgan with a small Lurker Hydra army trying to get up here. Nice EMP once again from Vindicta, but the siege tanks too many on the high ground here. They've got their +2 attack, and they are mighty.
Yeah, exactly. The one place I don't want him to be is at the top near that speed zone where he can fire at my base, because it's so hard for me to push up there, and well, now it happened.
Yeah, it did, and he's kind of going for it, but reinforcements from Vindicta show up at the nick of time here for Vindicta. Is it enough to push it off? And yes, Railgan forced to retreat from that position. Not a good place to be at all. This hatchery, against all odds, is still alive somehow, but a little bit of focused fire from these +3 bio units should be able to finish it. So Transfuse is trying to keep it alive. Queen taking tank shots in retaliation for that. Attack up the left side, doesn't do a whole lot here. Right side, still an Ultralisk comes in. First we've seen of the day. It's dead. The siege tanks are pretty good in this situation against a single Ultra. Enough things, wow, just enough Zerg trickling in to dislodge that. Vindicta trying to go for the top left-hand base here, though. He's going to have the high ground as well, but no medevacs, no siege tanks, just pure Marine Marauder. Hatch down, however. Again, the concentrated fire, pretty good. Splitting up here against these Lings. Hydra's coming in here to try to deal with this, but is it enough Hydralisks? And it is. Just the great upgrades on those Hydras. Base down, but army devalued. Army supply, 47 to 48. Neither player having much of a bank at the moment. Railgan had a big one. It's gone now. And how you feeling at this point in the game? Oh, the hatch on the right side dies too. Oh, no.
Well, I feel really unhappy because like I'm just getting ping-ponged left and right, and my army is never in position. I don't have lurkers pre-positioned, and I kind of feel like I threw a lot of my army away when I attacked his bottom right base. So I'm trying to get back here.
Yeah, Vindicta still has that bottom right base, which is fantastic. Railgan trying to retake his top left, trying to retake his right side base here too, but effectively he's got one mining base at the moment with 2 mineral patches. That is not good at all. Vindicta,
kind of.
Yeah, I mean Vindicta's only on 1.5 bases as well, so I'm assuming it's favoring the Terran, but not by a whole lot. But still, not a good place to be if you're a Zerg player.
The thing is, mules are really powerful in these late game situations because they get so much value out of the mineral patches. But you can also, like, I think he already had to lift his main orbital, for example.
Yes, he did. He moved that down, I think, to replace the third. Either way, this attack gets scouted in. Lurker Hydra trying to defend it. Got some corruptors in the sky. And, oh, that's just so much bile. Stutter stepping forward, but taking some splash damage as well. And poor siege tank left behind. Small marine attack on the right side. Trying to get some... Wow, getting several... Oh my gosh. The drone massacre over here. These marines definitely paying for themselves.
I pulled the workers away, but I didn't pull all away, and then they just kept firing.
Brutal. So you're down to 39 drones to 54 SCVs, but again, mules are good. Mules can make up for a lack of SCVs at this stage of the game for sure. Army supply 54 to 40.
I need lurkers right now. Lurkers are the only thing. Oh,
lurker trap! Lurker trap! It was okay. It's not as good as that is in Brood War, I can tell you this much. Everything would have died if that was a Brood War lurker trap. Yeah, it's just no bonus versus biological light units, and that's your good game. Vindicta does come out on top. Really scrappy match. Only 54 army supply at the end of the game. He's got 26 Marines, a Marauder, and 4 tanks is his army. It's not much, but it's definitely more than Railgan is rolling with, and the Swiss Zerg player does tap out there in 28 minutes. Woof! That was intense.
Yeah, I tried everything. Even brought the hold fire lurkers in the end, but even they were not enough to get me back.
It was a good trick. It was a good attempt for sure.
Yeah, it was a fun game though. We saw kind of everything Zerg has besides Brood Lords. I guess we didn't see Banelings, but we see enough of those. But everything else Zerg really has, we kind of saw. Yeah,
really non-standard ZVT. Very fun that way. And Vindicta, nice comeback, honestly. Really nicely. Just able to expand a couple times, defend his bases in situations where he needed to or he would die, and then just winning a couple engagements here and there, taking out 2 of your mining bases, your 2 newest mining bases, which is a huge deal. And yeah, economically not a great place to be from there. Good stuff.
He also was kind of on his last limbs with his attacks. Like if those didn't work, he would have fallen because he just couldn't keep up either. I mean, even if you look at the game right now, he doesn't even have a base at his original third base. He had to lift that one as well. So he's kind of scraping the barrel as well. But
yeah, That's why it's a great game, is because neither player is super healthy economically at all. Nobody has a bank, and yeah, it just comes down to, does this last push win or not? Yeah, resources lost. You ended up losing 52,000 resources. 46,000 lost for Vindicta in this game. How many lurkers? 35 lurkers down. Whew. That's a lot of lurkers. 235 marines, 30 ghosts, 23 marauders, 33 siege tanks. And no bases killed? Oh, yeah, that's a big deal. So you lose 4 hatches. He ends up losing 0 command centers, orbitals, or planetaries, which is that's a big indicator as well. Could be hard to win that way. All right, good stuff. Well, you can check out Railgan on Twitch and on YouTube. I'll put links to both of those in the description here. He streams fairly often. It's good to get GM level insight into the games that he plays too, like we got here today. So if you want more of that, be sure to check him out on YouTube and Twitch. And yeah, anything else you want to plug today?
No, not really. Actually, I'm mostly streaming on Twitch at the moment. I'm trying to get back into the YouTube game as well, but it's always it requires a little bit more effort than just the streams. I'm pretty sure you know that. And then yeah, but on YouTube I mostly do guides and analysis about zerg. I'm not that well versed with the other races, but I try to provide valuable insights. So if you're a zerg player struggling, be it Skytoss, be it Terran, be it zerg itself, feel free to check out my YouTube channel.
Yeah, do it. Great resources for zergs who are having a hard time now, because I think some of us definitely are. I think that's a common refrain. Anyway, all right, good stuff. So that's going to be it from us today. This has been Falcon, Paladin, and Railgan coming at you with another edition of the StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thanks for hanging out, and stay safe, stay healthy, and you take care of yourself.